Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I've decided to install some solar. The solar panels were on special, so I picked up a couple. There's one sitting over there at the moment. So what I've added to the roof on the boat, I've made another kind of, I don't know, roof rack type profile on there to kind of copy this one at the front here, or on the edge here. And then this is just some channel I had lying around in the workshop. I want this to be so I can unbolt it, so it makes it kind of more versatile, just in case any changes later on. So I drilled out the side here and countersunk it, and then I've got these bolts that go through. Yep, to hold that kind of rail system in. Yeah, what I did with the channel is I cut some blocks, I don't know if you can see that, and just welded them out at the ends, and then just kind of dressed them back. Not the prettiest, but not really going to see it up here anyway, so as long as it holds together, that's the main thing. And then I drilled those out and just tapped them. And if you can see the thread in there. Yeah. So anyway, that bolts in there, and then I drilled and threaded those. I think they're M6. If you can see that in there. So they go through, and then the solar panel just basically. Jump up on the boat. On the back, you can see the holes there. So that just drops straight onto the top of that. Yeah. So what I did first was I put these two rails in with the bolts. Yeah. Tack this one into place, and then I put the solar panel on top with these bolted on, sat that on there, made sure it was all sitting nice and sweet, and then just basically tacked it together. And then once I was happy with it, I just basically welded it out. But I had to take this one off so I could get the welder in to get a nice weld on that one there. So anyway, let's crack on. Let's get the other one in. Okay, so that's the other side done now, and I've now made a small bracket at the front there. So that's going to be for a front light. I've also done a bit more on the boat. I've now drilled and bolted down on the foredeck there, that channel I made. So that's all kind of bolted in place. And I've put the glass hatch in too, so that's all sorted now. And at the back of the boat, just down in here, I don't know if you can see it very well, but I've drilled a hole there, and that's going to be for the pump for the live well tank. So that will be the water inlet. So it goes straight out the back of the boat, sucks up water, and then pushes it up into the. Got to drill a hole in the top of the tank here. If you can see that in there, the hole will be going right up the top where my finger is here, and some kind of spray bar, just to oxygenate the water, and then that hole there. Just there, I welded in a piece of 50mm tube, and that goes straight out the back for emptying. There is another hole in there as well. These holes were already in the aluminium when I got it in the kit. Yeah, so that one there, I'm going to do a standpipe coming up. That'll go straight out the back of the boat as well, and I just basically bring that up to here somewhere, and that will, wherever I cut that off. That will set the level of the of the water in the live tank. So as the water pumps in, it fill this up and then drain through, down through that standpipe. That's the idea anyway. And then obviously when you're coming out of the water, you can just pull the plug out of this one here and just drain the whole lot out. So yeah, so that's been done as well. And I've just started to put in the chart plotter fish finder. So as you can see that over there, I've now marked that one out on here, so I've just got to cut that out and I can get that all fixed in place. So okay guys, so I've now cut out the hole ready for the fish finder chart plotter to go into. Also sat down yesterday evening and drew a quick picture of the dash for a layout. So I'm going to have this as a separate panel here, which I'm going to put all the switches in. So I'm just going to cut that out with a piece of aluminium, and then I'll drill and put probably an M4 thread and bolt that on there. Yeah, that's the plan for that. Also getting ready to put the fuel tank in, so that's all got to be welded in there. So that's the next quite big job on the boat. One of the last big jobs on the boat. I've also just now welded in these little brackets on a transom. So there's one of those each side. Yeah, so the idea of those is that you just bolt your transponder on there for the fish finder, so you don't have to screw through the back of the boat. So no extra holes in the hull, which is always a good thing. I'm also going to put some lights on there, a light each side for underwater lights. It seems like a good place to put them, so that's the plan. Okay, so the last bracket I'm going to make to fix on the roof, I had to think about this the other day, and just a bit of future proofing really. Can't really afford one at the moment, but may add one later, and that's a radar. So while I'm doing all the welding on the roof, I thought, well, I might as well put a bracket together and whack that up, get that all ready, just so that I can just bolt the thing on if I need to, and it saves any sort of welding or drilling of the roof, which means more paint again. So yeah, so I'm just in the middle of kind of designing and putting something together. So I found all the technical data for a radar online. So I drilled the holes. I've made this, I've cut it out of cardboard first, and then you see the little spots there where that's the drill pattern for the mounting the radar onto a base plate. So that's the base plate made. So I'm just now making a pillar, so that kind of sit on there like that, but that's kind of going to sit in the middle. Then I'm going to cut this half round into quarters and weld that onto the edge, so it becomes like a whole kind of rounded corners, but like an enclosed section that's going to weld up underneath this plate. And then I'll drill a hole through the top here, and then all the wires can go down through and into the roof. Okay, so I cut all the pieces, and now I've just tacked them all together to create a shape. So I've put it all together with a square, just to make sure everything's square. So what I'll do next is basically weld this one out, thoroughly seam weld along here, all of those. Yeah, dress it all back, and then as you can see there's an angled cut on there because I want the whole thing. If I just place it on there, you can see it's kind of leaning forward or leaning back, not quite sure yet. I might lean it back like that, that would look quite nice. Yeah, and I'll cut these off afterwards, after I've welded it all together. Cut it all to length, just to dress it all up before I marry it up onto the mounting plate for the radar. And then I'll probably make a base plate as well. I'm not quite sure yet whether I'm going to screw that down. I might screw it down. So I'll probably make a roundish sort of base plate, drill 4 holes, countersink them, drill the roof, and then just screw them down. And then I can take it off if I need to. I think that'll probably be better. I was going to weld it straight to the roof, but in retrospect, I think I'll just screw it down. Yeah. Anyway, let's get it welded up. Okay, so I've welded that out now. So we'll oh, I missed 2 there, so I must do those as well. So I'll quickly weld those last 2 there, and then I'll dress that all back. Okay, as you can see, I've welded that one out now. So yeah, next part to do with this is to put some kind of base plate onto the roof. I'll probably make something out of thicker alley to follow the perimeter here all the way around, and I may actually weld that onto the roof of the boat. But what I'll do is I'll pop through some studs from the underneath of that base plate, pop them up through, weld it in, and then the studs can just literally pop through these, and so you just have to do a nut up on this. That's the I think that's the easiest way to do it. And so the only hole I'll have to make is here in the middle on the roof to pop the cable down through, and then it will be sealed all the way around here, and that will stop any ingress of water. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. This is like the backing plate. I'm going to weld this straight onto the roof of the boat, and then the stand. Basically fits over the studs like so, and I can just bolt that down. So I'll leave, because I haven't got a radar, I'm not planning on getting one soon. It will be a development later on. I'll paint that
this mount up, all ready to go on the boat. But what I'll do is I'll weld this one in place. So these I just drilled out and tapped. I think it's M8. Yeah, it's M8. This is just A2 stainless in the moment, so I'm going to have to change these for A4 because that's not high enough grading. They'll still corrode, especially in salt water. So A2 is okay for interior stuff, but for exterior, anywhere on the boat, it would just corrode terribly. So yeah, I need to get 4 of those countersink 8mm bolts, change those out, and then I can weld that up on the roof, all ready to go. It just leaves that and a bracket up there for the light, and that's the roof done, so I can actually start sanding that down, prepping for paint. Okay guys, you can see I just put that plate on there. This one's the wire on is the sender unit for the fuel level, so we know how much is in the tank. Yeah, I had a leak. I think it was over here somewhere, just a tiny little pinhole, so I had to take it all off and then take that out with the tungsten tip blade in the grinder, so it's a nice clean cut in there, and then just buzz a bit more weld in there. So hopefully I've got it now. It's seemed pretty successful anyway. Yeah, so I couldn't really leave that on because that's I've used silicone to bed that, so the heat would bugger up the silicone, so just easier to remove it and then bolt it back down. So this tank's almost ready to go in now. It just leaves me now to do a pressure test on the tank. I've got to leave this for 24 hours now for this silicone to go off, and then I'll connect up all the hoses, pressure up, and fingers crossed it will hold pressure. as long as it holds pressure okay, then I can put the tank in, which will be yeah, big jump forward in the process of getting this boat finished. So okay guys, I've pressured up the fuel tank now. I still have a leak just up here. I put a little arrow on there, so for some reason when that was welded with the TIG welder, we're having a few issues with it, and we've got some contamination in there, and of course it's gone a bit porous and we've got a leak there. So I've just got that to sort out. Luckily that's kind of independent of the fuel tank anyway, so I could actually pop that off yet again, clean it all up and possibly weld it from behind, and that'll probably seal that one up. But I've managed to pressure the tank up to about 10 psi, and just sprayed the water over it, over every single join, and that's got a bit of soap in it, so it all bubbles up when you get leaks. Of course there was a few leaks, and it's where it's been stop started with the welds, because obviously you can't smash a weld all the way through it in one hit, which would be really great, but you get so much warpage that it'd be almost unusable. So when I've stopped started, there's been tiny little pinholes, so all I've done is gone in with the grinder with the tungsten blade on it, quickly cut them out again, and then just buzzed another weld in there. As you can see where the arrows are. I've put new welds in. So anyway, they all seem to have sealed now. It's holding pressure anyway, so which is good. So I think we're just about ready to drop this thing in, get it welded in. Okay, so I thought we'd get one last pressure test, and the only leak I seem to have now is just here where this screw goes in. You can see the bubbles coming up. So that one's quite easy to solve, so I'll just take that back out, possibly put a bit of sealant around the underneath the set screw, and then looks like I've got a bit of a one there as well, but that's even smaller. Yeah, so I can just wind them out, put a bit of sealant around the head, and just wind them back in. Yeah, everywhere else seems to be okay, so I seem to have sealed it all up. So this has been pressured up for a good hour. It doesn't seem to have lost any pressure, so, and sprayed the soapy water around all the joints. Can't find any more bubbles, so I think we're good to go. Just to prove how much pressure's in here, I'll take this one out, and you'll hear it go. Yeah, so you don't have to go stupid with the pressure, I don't think, because it'll probably blow the sides of the tank out. So yeah, so I went up to a maximum of 10 psi anyway with it. So okay, let's get it welded in. As you can see, the welder started playing up. But I found out what it was. I've run out of wire. that's why it was stuttering. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get some more wire just to finish stitching the tank in. Okay guys, so I'm going to leave this video here. Just got to stitch the rest of that tank in when I get some more wire. So anyway, big thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Cheers for now.